Hey guys, Ethan Bale here, welcome back to a YouTube video. In this video, I'm going to explain to you when you should actually turn off your Facebook ads. I get a lot of questions on LinkedIn, on Twitter for how long they should test ads for, when they should turn them off, and if you should turn them back on, and that type of thing. So I'm going to cover that in this video. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section below. And yeah, let's dive straight in. So when should you actually turn off Facebook ads? So here's the usual rule of thumb that we do for every single ad account. So the DCT will be uploaded on like a Monday, for example. Now that needs to spend the total AOV by Wednesday before any decision is basically made. Now, depending on how much has been spent and what ROAS will then determine if we then leave that on for an extra 2 days, or so it goes on for 7 days, 5 days total, or we leave it on for 7 days total. Now we assess ROAS and spend. Now, it's a very, very broad rule. So I'm going to show you some examples because there's not really a one size fits all because there's a lot of variables to take into consideration. So if the DCT takes most spend and the ROAS is over break even, we keep the ad on. Very, very simple. Now, if the DCT takes a low amount of spend and the ROAS is below break even, we give it an extra 2 days to begin with. So if this is by day 3, we give it an extra 2 days, give it to 5 days total, and then potentially 7 days, and then reassess from there, because sometimes it can take a while for the budget to optimize the ad account, because Facebook will spend more money on the ad that it thinks it is going to basically perform better. But sometimes Facebook can just basically, if an ad is like uploaded new, for example, and an ad's already performing pretty good in the ad account, it's going to be pretty selfish to that new ad and not really give any spend, so to the existing ad, not give any spend to the new ad. So if the DCT takes a low amount of spend but ROAS is below break even, we give it, it's after 3 days, give it extra 2 days, and then assess, and then 2 days after that. And after 7 days, if it's still the case, just turn it off. Now, if the DCT takes most spend but ROAS is below the break even, we turn it off. So after the 3 days, if it takes about 80% of the ad account spend and the ROAS below break even, very obvious we turn it off. And if the DCT takes low spend but ROAS is above break even, we give it a little bit longer. Now, the most important thing to remember when testing ads is that Facebook will give spend to the ad it believes will do the best. Now, sometimes you can upload a new ad, and that if you're spending 1K per day, that day it can take $500 in spend, and the ROAS can be terrible. When that occurs, we turn the ad off within the first day because it's just taking spend, it's affecting overall ad account performance. So the number one thing you need to really think about when it comes to ads is how much has been spent and what is getting what spend. Yes, ROAS is important, but I'm going to explain to you in a minute why I need to take consideration for spend. So spend or ROAS? Both, but as I said, spend first, ROAS second. What is getting more spend is what Facebook believes will perform better. Now, you may have an ad account where an ad with DCT where the ROAS is very high but spend is very low. That's because Facebook doesn't believe that it's going to be able to get perform well when it has more spend. Now you might think, oh well, it's only spend $100 or so, and I'm a media buyer, and I run 7-figure ad accounts and blah blah. Well, at the end of the day, I don't care who you are. If you are a human, you are going to be way outsmarted by a billion data point algorithmic machine like Facebook. So that's why we rely on Facebook. Like Facebook, the heavy lifting, we just sit there and sit my tides. Now, here's an example. Ad 1, ad 2, spend ROAS. So ad 1, the spend is $20, ROAS is 5. Ad 2, spend is $200, ROAS is 2. Now let's just say, hypothetically, the break-even ROAS is 1. Which ad do you think would keep on? Which ad do you think you would keep off? The answer is you'd keep ad 2 on rather than ad 1. Why? Because ad 2, the spend is 10 times greater than ad 1. So it shows there is some sort of scalability there with that ad, and it appears to more people profitably. And 2, the ROAS is above the break even. Yes, it's not as high as 5, but it is still a good ROAS at a high spend. So we know that ad 2 has scaling potential. Whereas ad 1, over 7 days, Facebook has only been able to allocate it $20 over 7 days, which indicates that Facebook does not think that ad is going to do well. And the ROAS is 5 because it's had such a low spend, basically. You'll obviously get like the odd sale or so it's not very predictable data. So now some people may think, oh, well, I'm better than Facebook. I'll turn ad 2 off and focus on ad 1. I mean, you can try that, but 99% of the time, that ad 1 is going to get more spend and that ROAS is going to drop below 1, and you've just turned off your ad and reset it back into the learning phase because you thought you knew better than Facebook. So here's a second example. So again, ad 1, ad 2, spend ROAS. So spend from ad 1 is $100, but the ROAS is 0.5. Now the spend from ad 2 is $500, but the ROAS is 1.5. Now, which ad do you think you will turn off and which ad do you think you will turn on? Now, here's the answer. Ad 1 you keep on, ad 2 you turn off. Now, before you start rushing to the comments, let me explain. So this is ad 1. This is over, for example, a 7-day period. So over 7 days, ad 2 has spent $500 and only managed to get a 1.5x. Let's say, hypothetically, the break-even ROAS here is 2. That's below the break-even ROAS. Even if the ROAS was, for example, break-even was 1, again, it only got a 1.5, so it's not that much improvement. Now, the issue is that's had $500 spent, so it's had quite a large amount of spend based off the AOV, say it's $50, so it's had time to essentially acquire about 10 customers, okay, based on $50 CAC for the product. So it's managed to spend a lot of money and not actually get a profitable ROAS. Now, if you keep spending that, from what I've seen in the past, the ROAS doesn't actually increase, it decreases because it just can't seem to get enough people to buy from it. Whereas ad 1 has only spent $100 and it's not really had that. If you have 3 DCTs live, for example, you've got, so 1 DCT live, you've got 3 creative lives in that. So in theory, each ad has only had $33 spend. So it's not really had that much spend compared to ad 2. Now, I've seen it before where you can turn off ad 2 and ad 1 can actually progress to about a 2x ROAS, and it can be a decent ad. Not a winner, but a decent ad, and better and outperform ad 2. So before I start rushing to the comments, obviously this is the strategy I use that I've scaled accounts with. You could keep ad 2 on, but the issue is that ROAS is just going to drop. Whereas keeping ad 1 on means that there's a chance of that ROAS increasing because the spend is so little. Now, once you kind of get more advanced, you start to look at all the metrics as well. So cost per outbound click, outbound CTR, and the cost per content view. Now, what the trick is here is you want to analyze it based off the average in the ad account. So if you launch a new ad and the cost per outbound CPC within like 2 days is, I don't know, like $8 when the average in the account is 2, chances are that ad's a flop. You can give it the 5 days, the 7 days, but from what we've seen, it doesn't actually improve. And if it does improve, it will only drop maybe a couple of dollars, but still be way, way far away from the average of the ad account. Now, with the outbound CTR, if that's below like 1%, I just get rid of it as well. The ad, especially if the high outbound CPC, and if the cost per content view is very high as well, and if it's actually higher than the cost per outbound click, I just get rid of that ad entirely. Now, this is kind of take with a pinch of salt. This is what I do. It's just once I see these metrics go crazy, and the ad may have only been on 2 days, and the spend is decent, then I know full well that this ad isn't going anywhere. So I just turn it off and replace it. And having the ability to know which ad is flopping and which ad is performing better, basically as quickly as possible, will allow you to test more, thus allowing you to scale brands and ad accounts a lot quicker. So to conclude, there are numerous factors to take into consideration, and chances are some people watching this will not agree with this. This is a strategy I've used to scale numerous ad accounts and make my clients a lot of money. Now, one thing to note is that when an ad takes off, it takes off. So some people will be thinking, oh, well, it could be a winner. You know when you find a winner. When you put a winner in the ad account, from day one, it'll take most to spend and really start to rocket. I very, very rarely see an ad slow start and then start to basically rocket up. I very, very rarely see that. Now, 90% of the time, like I said, you know an ad is a winner from day one, because when you upload it, it just blows up and takes most of the spend, and the ROAS is still pretty good. So guys, that is everything. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like I said, this is the strategy I follow. This is what I recommend, because by doing this method, you're going to test faster, scale faster, and just cut basically the amount of budget wasted on ads that are clearly not going to work. Like, you'll start to know an ad will not be working by day 3 rather than waiting by day 7. So of course, you're cutting your testing time in half and saving your client potentially 50% money per ad by following that strategy. Now, if you have any questions, drop in the comment section below. Appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button. Now, if you are a skincare brand or a fashion brand or any brand that is selling on Shopify for that matter, you may be struggling to get past 1K per day in ad spend. You may be struggling to produce high quality creatives at volume or anything like that. Look in the description below where it says how you can build with my Facebook ads. Click that link there. Schedule a very quick 10-15 minute chat with me, and we'll assess if you are a good fit to work with us. We've scaled over 145 brands to date and generated over about 30 million DTC revenue, spending about 8.5 million on ads. So if you are a Shopify brand, check that out below, schedule a call, and we'll see if we're a good fit. Now, if you have any questions or potential video ideas or anything you just want clearing up in terms of questions you never find an answer for about Facebook ads or Shopify, anything in general, just drop them in the comment section below and I'll record a video on it to help you guys out. And again, any questions, drop them in the comment section. And that is everything. I'll see you in the next one.